Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of What You Watchin'. On this episode today, we're going to keep it a little light, talk about two different comedies that we really enjoyed, that we think people could be watching right now, a little bit underseen movies. So the first movie we're going to talk about is called The Invention of Lying, starring Ricky Gervais and Jennifer Gardner. What'd you think about the movie?
I honestly thought it was fantastic. It's a movie about, obviously, a world where lying doesn't exist. You tell the truth no matter what. And Ricky Gervais's character comes to the realization that he can just make something up. And because the world he's in never lies, they take it for truth, and he kind of just gets to run with it. I thought it was very inventive, very clever, the way they built their world.
Yes, it was very inventive. Inventive with lying, yes. But no, I agree with you. It built such a great world. Right from the outset, it's a world that people can't lie in. They can't even help themselves from telling the truth. Even when it's not beneficial, they still will just tell the truth.
Yeah.
And they kept the aesthetic going throughout the entire film. They kept that motif. So every time something new happened or something changed, it made sense within the world. Unlike a lot of other movies who might set up this world where people can't lie and then there would be little hints of lying throughout, or they would break their own rules, this world kept it going the entire time, even after Gervais's character begins to lie.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else keeps that feel.
It really made the world whole and very, very lived in. The fact that just everyone spoke the truth, and it was just everyone spoke the truth. They didn't even have a word for lying. They didn't even have a word for something that wasn't true, because they were always saying the truth.
Yeah.
And it was just a very unique look at a world where lying just does not exist.
Now, it's definitely might not be for everybody, because it's a big allegory for religion. How religion started, how it can be misinterpreted or straight up made up. And they definitely delve deep into that in this movie. I love that aspect, because it's looking at something that so many people just take as fact, but not really knowing where the history of maybe that comes from. And they play on that really, really well in this. And that's one of the things I loved. I also, this is a movie from 2009, so it's been out for, 11 years now. And you can see that filmmaking's gotten a little better over the last 11 years. It's almost directing 101. Ricky Gervais also helped direct it with one of his friends. And, they don't do anything massively creative with visuals or with cinematography or with pacing, or it's very much by the numbers. But I actually think that helps elevate the movie to another level, because with a world in which you just tell the truth, they wouldn't know how to do some of these tricks. They wouldn't show you these other things. So I don't know if it was on purpose, and I might be giving them too much credit, but to me it really helped.
Yeah, it made everything feel matter of fact, just very straightforward, as even the characters were. Just some of the scenes were that way, and a lot of the shots were that way. It was just like, this is how it's supposed to be, so this is how it is.
Yeah. And the performances were fantastic. Ricky Gervais, not one of my favorite comedians.
I love him.
But his dry sense of humor, that British wit that everybody always talks about, played well here. Really well, because he comes across as everything he's saying is true, which makes you believe it because everybody else believes it. Even though you know it's a lie, you still believe it because of the way he can deliver those lines with that dry sense of humor.
Yeah, I don't honestly think too many others would have been able to fill his shoes and just be able to come to that realization of lying and really make it go forward the way he does so naturally. I don't think anyone else in that role would have worked.
Agreed. I feel like if you put any other comedian in that role, it might have played too much as a comedy. And it would have been more about the jokes and how we got there and the setups and the deliveries, where this played very much like a drama with so many comedic elements to it, which again helped further the film as a whole. Jennifer Gardner, I thought, played really well off of him as well, as an uptight woman who can't see past basic instincts of humans.
Yeah, and that I honestly I didn't like her character, but I don't think you were supposed to really like her character so much. No. I mean, half the time she's calling everyone, fat and short and just not a good genetic match.
Yeah, losers and everything.
Like that's a major part of this film is being, a stereotypical loser versus stereotypical winner. And it like made it black and white, and it was kind of neat seeing her find out it's not always black and white.
Yeah, for the two main characters, Ricky Gervais and Jennifer Gardner, I thought both of them played their roles really well, and I enjoyed both of their journeys. Yeah. They both took completely different journeys, had different arcs throughout the entire film, and yet I was invested in both. I wanted to see where both were going to go. So yeah. I had a wonderful time watching this movie. It's not going to blow the doors off of anything. You're not going to walk away being like, this is the best movie I've ever seen. But gosh damn it, it is an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes of just joy. Just joy.
And it's such a good story, and you kind of feel heartwarming, and it's just you get to see, like, Ricky Gervais's character is such a good guy, and you really want to root for him. And
at the same time, you want him to fail a little bit too, because there are moments in which, damn you, Ricky Gervais.
I mean, lying is good, it's bad, whole idea.
Exactly, but that's what the movie did so well in such a short amount of time, which is why you're going to have joy with it, because it tells a very complete, thorough story that gets you invested emotionally in every aspect of it. And, that's pretty much all you can ask for in a movie is give me that escapism for an hour and a half or 2 hours, however long it is. And this movie kept my attention the entire time, and I think everybody who watches it is really going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I know I did.
Cool. The second movie we're going to talk about is one that I've seen before, but I just introduced you to.
How did I miss it?
Stars our beloved Captain America, Chris Evans, from 2011, opposite Anna Faris. It's called What's Your Number? Go ahead.
It's all about Anna Faris's character when she realizes that she's had quite a few sexual partners. And going off of an article, realizes that,
she's double the national average for women.
Where they say after this certain number, your likelihood of finding someone you're going to be with for the rest of your life is just kaput.
Yep.
So she realizes she's at that number right there, and she goes on this crazy adventure with
the help of Captain America,
which is her neighbor. Goes on this grand adventure to try and find who of her previous partners
might be the one. Maybe she overlooked them. It's all about second chances in this movie.
Oh yeah.
It's she had a sexual partner at one point, and things didn't work out for whatever reason. And now, years down the road, she's going to go back and take a look at all of them again and see if maybe things have changed enough that one of those guys is the one.
Yeah.
And why does she ask Captain America for help? Well, it's simple. His dad was a cop, and he knows how to find people. He knows how to get a hold of people and, do that kind of dirty work. And the whole movie basically then revolves around their relationship being built as he's helping her out. And their chemistry was just amazing.
Off the charts.
I hope they're best friends in real life, because if they're not, they should be. They played off each other so well. Chris Evans, and I know a lot of people only know him really as Captain America. He's so much more than that. Especially in this movie, he is the funniest part of this entire movie, for me at least. Everything he says, everything he does, I feel for him. I'm laughing with him. I'm crying with him. I'm invested completely in that character, even though he's an utter jerk in the beginning of the
scumbag.
Movie. Yeah, he's a complete scumbag. But he makes it so endearing regardless.
Yeah. No, the acting in this film was really, really something to watch. It really, like you said, the chemistry was phenomenal. You had characters, you understood their motives, you wanted to go with them on their journey, And you wanted things to pay off for these characters. You really, even though they started off, scumbags or whatever, you felt their struggles and you were like, I want you to have everything in life. Please.
But it's, you go on this emotional journey with them throughout, and that's what really drew me to this movie. It's a rom-com. It's my favorite genre. I know I don't look like it, but it's literally my favorite genre. I will watch any and all rom-coms. This is one of my favorite. Did no money at the box office. And the reason why mostly is because of those characters and the way they can play off of each other and build what is happening and how you feel connected to them. I am not Captain America, especially in this movie, and I'm not Anna Faris, especially in this movie. Like, I haven't led the life of either one of those characters, and yet I knew exactly what they felt at every single moment. And you had mentioned, you wanted things to pay off. One of the things that I think is so brilliant about this movie, and it goes to the creators, the writers especially, is everything gets paid off, and everything is set up to pay off. There is never anything that just comes out of left field and goes, hey, look, this happened. There's always a mention of something earlier, which leads us to where we need to go to continue the story. And I think that's amazing.
Honestly, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie, was it all felt earned. I mean, the whole reason that Anna Faris's character even thinks about previous lovers is she's planning the wedding of her sister to what was one of her exes.
Her second chance.
Her giving a second chance to her going to be husband. And it really led the story to her trying to give second chances to her past lovers. And it just, everything had that kind of connection. You had pieces at the beginning that, they went back to at the end, and it made so much sense.
So much sense. And the score is amazing, too. I know music in rom-coms, it's never the focal point. Like, it's always about the characters and the funniness between them. But you can't really have connections without that music emotionally manipulating you in the best way possible. And this one works because they use classic songs, a lot of Lionel Richie, because Anna Faris' character is obsessed with him. They use a lot of his songs that really formulate an idea of what's happening in the movie, which gives us that feel because, one, we know that song. We can connect to that song. And two, it's also pulling us further into this story. And, it's just a basic score that works on so many levels.
Oh, yeah.
Cinematography, I thought, was great as well. I thought the thematic elements throughout the entire movie of second chances that they kept referencing and kept going back to, even with all of Anna Faris's past lovers, even when she meets up with them again, it's all about their second chances. Not just with her, but their life, or how they gave somebody else a second chance and furthered their life that way. It's this great theme throughout the entire film, and it never loses that idea. It never goes too far into funny or too far into romance to lose the bigger picture.
And it's not overly ridiculous, certain rom-coms and even just comedies can get into that like slapstick, or I'm just going to throw this character in just to be funny. And it gives heart to every character, and that's what made this world seem lived in and loved. There's
no comedic best friend. That's one of the tropes I love and hate all at the same time. Is every single comedy, especially rom-coms, there's always that best friend who has all the jokes and says all the... There's nothing like that in here, which makes it a little more real because not everybody has that. It just relies on these two characters to meet, connect, and develop. So I'm surprised this movie didn't do well, but it also came out the same year as Captain America: The First Avenger. So everybody thinks about Chris Evans. That's the movie they're going to go to. They're going to reference. This is one that snuck in there that nobody really watched. They should, especially just for the surprises. Just the cameos made by all these faces that you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe they're in this movie.
Also, you look like a baby.
And you look like a baby because it's 10 years ago. But even that's just great. And, I laughed. I've seen this movie probably 15 times, and I still laugh every time it comes on because of how well it's played.
And this was my first time viewing, like you said, and I was definitely like, where has this been my entire life? How did I not even see this film?
You're right there with the rest of them.
Go out, stream this one right away. I know both of the movies we talked about are available on different streaming sites.
Yeah, I think, currently the Invention of Lying is on Netflix, I believe, and I think it was Showtime or Cinemax is where we watch What's Your Number.
Yeah, through Hulu, I think.
Through Hulu, but if you just have their streaming service, you can totally get it. Or if you have their cable channel or whatever.
Or just on demand.
On demand, it should be there. Check these movies out. You'll laugh. It's a great double feature because one's very heavy on the funny and it works, and one's a little more dramatic with elements of funny as well. Both work on different levels. Both have amazing casts. Amazing stories, are really well put together.
Good chemistry and fun. And
watch them back to back and get back to us. Let us know what you thought about the movies below. Let us know if there's any movies that you think we should see and then talk about on the channel here. We'd love to hear back from you guys. But we only did the 2 today. Special shout out to The Proposal, another great rom-com, Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock. Fantastic, but that's a big film. We don't really talk about big films that did well. We talk about those little under-deserved ones.
So if you need a triple feature of rom-coms,
throw The Proposal in there.
You won't be disappointed.
But anyway, so that's it for us. There is a couple news things that are happening right now with some film festivals and stuff like that. So check back in with us in the next day or so. We're going to have another news show up for you guys. But in the meantime, hope you guys are staying healthy, staying safe out there, and enjoying all the movies. We'll talk to you later.
Bye. It got so dark.